This is their frozen food. Quality checked. Okay, Wally approved it. Moose would like to eat it, so it's probably okay. Hi, Wally. We gotta check on the worms with everybody, okay? Thanks, buddy. You're a good boy. But I gotta check on the worms. They might be hungry. They might be hungry, Wally. Hello, friends. Worm time for us. Now, I have found these containers that are full of various frozen foods, but they were in the absolute depths of the freezer. So I was like, you know what? Let's plan on using those, because it had occurred to me last time we put a little berries in, we put a little bit of compost in, and I was like, well, it's been almost a month. We're a couple days short of a month, and I'm expecting the berries to be gone because they're berries. But I was thinking the compost is something we want broken down, but it doesn't usually break down as quickly as food. So we put all that compost in, it filled up the tiers, but it doesn't go down, in volume and stuff as they process it as quickly as fresh food, because, well, it takes them a lot longer to process that stuff. So I'm not expecting much. Yeah, it's still full, but not nearly as full. But good signs on the top. We got plenty of humidity. We got a little guy who just ran in there because I'm assuming he's camera shy. So okay, well that's promising. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but it's still pretty full in here, and I think that's because we put so much of that almost composted compost in, and I think that's just taking up a lot of space. So I'm just gonna try to gently, oh yeah, look at it, we got some worms there. I love when we just barely scratch the surface and we're like, there's worms, they're here. So we're seeing a little bit of movement over here. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm afraid to tuck in here. Okay, there's a little bit of a hurt. So yeah, once we get down a little ways though, we can tell that we're back into the coconut coir that we started the tier with. So we definitely don't need to add any more of that, which unfortunately I think means that we're probably not going to add more compost to this tier because it's already so full. We need to have room to add the shredded paper and fresh food. So I think we just need to give them time to process through some of their existing bedding and the compost we started with. But with that being said, I still need to feed them some fresh food. And so I thought we'll start with some of those little packs that I found in the freezer, because why not? So hopefully the worms will move. There's not a ton of them over there. Let's see what's behind door number 1. Yep. Past this. Okay. So it looks like we got some shredded potatoes, a banana, a tea bag, a couple bananas. Okay. So not premium content like a berry per se, but still pretty good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and add some more shredded paper just on top of it, because I think we're going to have a little bit of exposure there with the frozen pot. I can't really break that down. I guess we could wait for it to defrost a little bit, but who's got time for that? That way the rest of the bedding can get worked on. And years ago when we started our Hot Frog originally, we started rotating through. So we might feed here, the next week or next feeding we'll feed here, and just kind of rotate through the bin. So they kind of move around, they work through the whole bin instead of just constantly feeding the same spot. So this will be a good indicator of where we fed them last, hopefully. But I'm happy to see that all of the berries and fresh food are long gone, because it was really their second feeding at that point. And fresh food, you never know how quickly that's going to go sometimes. So tier 1 doing great. All right, we're getting into tier 2. Look at how just perfectly flat this is. I guess that's a good thing. I'm not really sure. We definitely have put a lot in here as this has gotten started. Just from looks though, I can definitely tell that there's plenty of moisture in here, so I'm not worried about that. I don't want to disrupt them too much because I'm seeing you know, not a lot of activity, but some activity in here. So I don't want to disrupt them too much. Honestly, I'm almost tempted to say this might be too damp of a tier. Hard to say. Hard to say. There's definitely not as much shredded paper as I thought I had put in here. So I guess we can definitely plan on adding more. Just strange. I don't know if you can hear the, like, as I'm tucking in here, definitely hearing some squishes, which makes me think maybe a little too wet in this tier. I definitely don't like hearing squishes, but I can tell we're in some of the compost area because I'm seeing like a squash seed and probably a banana label over here, or some sort of fruit produce sticker. So I'll go ahead and we'll put, I guess, the same shredded paper over here to help cushion the frozen food we're going to put in to the tier in general. And then this container, let's see. Oh, hi, Wally. Which one's in the, okay, this one's not as exciting. This one just has, looks like some banana peels, a tea bag. Okay, probably for the better given how damp this tier seems to be. Probably because everything in the top tier dripped down to this tier. But that's okay, we can fix that. I'm just gonna go ahead and gently nudge this down. I really wanted to check on these guys sooner, but it's a slippery slope. Like, you want to check on them, but you don't want to disrupt them. And yeah, so here we are. We're gonna get them set up with some food and some bedding over here. And as much as I want to put bedding everywhere, I think we'll just start here because gravity will still kick in, and I'm sure it will pull that moisture down to the bottom layers over time, which I guess we can go ahead and check on really quick while we're here. All right, so I went all the way to the bottom because this is usually where there's a problem if there's moisture. Looks like this worm is in the process of dying. No, he's already died. Looks like this is dry. I mean, maybe a little bit of moisture. There's still a few worms that explored their way down. Not shocking. This is tier 4. What do you think, Wally? Is it okay? Okay, well, Wally's checking. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely put some, oh, excuse me, rude boy. There's a squash in here from the garden. There's a little bit of moisture in here. So with that being said, once I can get Wally to move, well, excuse me, sir, excuse me. Oh, buddy, I don't know if you could hear his nose just hopping away there. But I'll go ahead and put some more paper in just because we don't want to have too much moisture building up down here. Holly, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Let me keep this tier though. This is tier 3. This one definitely has, I mean, you could tell from the coloring, a lot of moisture. So I'm thinking too much moisture was up top. It has been dripping down, and I'm seeing some sort of maybe mites or aphids on that squash that's breaking down. We definitely don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go very, very heavy-handed, maybe too heavy-handed, I don't know. We'll see, because we don't want that to get out of control. And clearly there's a moisture relocation situation happening. So hopefully this will absorb either what's coming in the tier above that's still wet, or will help counter some of the problems here. Wally, what am I gonna do with you, buddy? I don't know if you guys can tell, but Wally's over here like sniffing away, going crazy. I don't know what he smells, but there's something really good about these worms. Wally, hey, is there something I need to know about? Like, I gotta put the worms back together. They don't want to be in the sun, buddy. All right. Tiers 1 and 2 are back on, and don't worry if you saw them next to the window. They're getting covered with this blanket, so they're not going to have too much sun. Plus, this area only gets sun for like 5 minutes out of the day because of all the trees in the area, so they're pretty cozy in there. And when I'm not working on feeding them, which is most of the time, this is on here, and then I got a nice big fern from the grocery store that sits up there, and he kind of shades the top a little bit extra for them. So yeah, good thing that the worms are doing okay. I'm really excited that the food is gone. That means they're alive and doing well. And a little bit of moisture concern, but not enough. It's still early stages. The bin is still regulating. So considering it's been a month, I think they're doing great. So here's hoping we keep on that trajectory. They keep eating, the food keeps shrinking, the layers keep shrinking, and we can put more of the compost in, because I think I don't think they're ready for more compost from the tumbler just yet. And this is Moose. He has collected all of his babies over here. And we were just right over here recording, and he's been here the whole time making sure we did a good job, but mostly napping because he just got his breakfast and he loves breakfast. So we're gonna let him rest. We're gonna go give some puppy snuggles to Wally, and hope you guys all have a good day. Bye, friends.